Man who spoke to our cameras, pleading for his wife's safe return.
I'm just concerned and understand if you're hearing this or you're out there, please let somebody know you're okay.
What we're learning about the pregnant mother's whereabouts and who may be responsible for her disappearance.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. This is Rebecca, and today we're going over the case of Chris Watts. As usual, I'd like to start my video out with a warning. If you have any kind of trigger, this is most certainly not the video for you. We've got some pretty graphic and disturbing details, so be warned. Also, this video is for educational and entertainment purposes. Everything you can and will find in this video, I received off the internet or YouTube, so feel free to do your own research. Chris was married to Shanann Watts. They had 2 children, Bella and Cece. Shanann was also pregnant with a baby boy that they called Nico. He also had a mistress named Nicole Kissinger. On the early morning of August 13th, 2018, Chris Watts unalived his wife, unborn child, and 2 children. He then went to where he worked, which held an oil storage tank, and disposed of their bodies. The neighbor had a security camera which shows footage of Chris Watts backing his truck up to the garage and then loading and unloading his truck. In the beginning of the investigation, he said that this was just him getting his stuff ready for work, such as tools and lunch. Later on in the investigation, he then came forth and said that yes, this was indeed when he loaded the bodies. Now on to Nicole Kissinger. Several people believe that she conspired with him in unaliving his family. One of the reasons that some people believe this is during this video, they say that they see Nicole Kissinger at the truck unloading and loading it up. And guys, whenever I say that I've did my research, I literally took a week to do nothing but study this case. During my time of studying this case, one of the things that I did was go very closely over this video and watch many YouTubers and different pictures on the internet to see if I could conclusively see whether or not it was indeed her. However, no matter how many sites or whatever I looked on, it just wasn't definitive. There was one that blew it up really, really good, and I can kind of see, she said it looked like hair. I can kind of see that, but at the same time, the video was enlarged so much that it was distorted, and I would hate to falsely accuse anybody, and in my belief, that just wasn't enough proof for me. This is after the court case, after everything. He's already in prison. They're talking about these yard tools, and he's saying that he used them to get rid of his wife. And when he's talking about them, he says, we have these yard tools. He should be alone. So why is he saying we?
Did you have a shovel?
Yeah, we have a shovel, a rake, and a weed whacker.
One of the detectives wrote, I am certain that Watts communicated far more with Kissinger than what is reflected on the phone data, perhaps facilitated through the calculator application. It became apparent he was receiving assorted nude images of Miss Kissinger that she was taking by herself and then sending to Mr. Watts, which he then stashed in the calculator app, preventing Shanann from ever seeing them. Nicole Kissinger was asked several times during several different interviews had she ever spoke with him through anything other than text messaging or phone calls, to which every single time she said no.
So all his photos were sent. There was no apps or anything else you used that you guys were sending. It was all just text messages.
Yeah.
Okay. So it'd be an attachment to a text that he sent you.
Pretty much.
But
everything is in the text and the phone call records.
Nicole craps the bed, putting her foot in her own mouth, accidentally telling Agent Kobach that she had spoken with Chris over Skype. And what do you think Agent Kobach said when she made this accidental, monumental admission? I'll take failing to do your job for 1,000, Alex. Because once again, if you guessed absolutely nothing at all, then you guessed correctly.
So that morning, Chris went out to his work location. He disposed of his family. Later on that evening, Nicole Kissinger messages him, and she says, I do not believe you were at your work location this morning. Send me a picture to prove to me that you were there that morning. Now, this isn't a normal text message from her. In all the past ones, she didn't want proof that he was at a certain location at a certain time. So that's not a normal message. And to me, because it's on the same day that he unalived his family, that to me is very intriguing. So the night before, Shanann's friend and her came in from an airport. At 2 o'clock in the morning, she dropped Shanann off. The next morning, they had plans. So the friend shows back up at Shanann's door. She knocks. She doesn't get an answer. Shanann has sugar problems. So she's worried with her being pregnant that maybe she's passed out or something like that. She's fearing for her safety. So then she calls Chris Watts and she's like, "What's going on? I'm not getting an answer. We had plans." Chris says, "Well, she's got a play date with another friend." And she's like, oh, she didn't think too much of it. She did think it was weird because she knows that Shanann already had a doctor's appointment for her OBGYN that she missed, but she doesn't think too much of it. Something in her gut told her to go check that garage door. When she checked the garage door, she realized that Shanann's car was there. And not only that Shanann's car was there, but the children's car seats were there. She knew Shanann enough to know that Shanann would always take her car, and if for any chance she didn't, she would most certainly take her car seats. So that is when she just got a bad feeling in her gut. She calls him back again. "I don't know about this." And he assures her, yes, that's right. Something in her told her to call 911. So she did. And this is what happens after the police show up.
Hi, Cece. My name's Nicole, and I'm calling because I'm concerned about a friend of mine. I dropped her off at her house at 2 in the morning last night because we were out of town together, and we were on the way back from the airport, and she's having issues, and she's pregnant. And I haven't been able to get a hold of her this morning, and I've gone to her house, and her car's there, and stuff like that, but she won't answer the door, she won't answer phone calls, she won't answer text messages, and I'm just really, really concerned. And she had a doctor's appointment this morning, and she didn't go to it, and I don't know what to do. I've called him and talked to him, and he said that she went on a play date with her other two daughters, but, like, if she went on a play date, they're both in car seats. Why would she not take her car?
Perfectly understandable. Do you happen to know her address, Nicole?
I'm asking standing outside her house. It's 2825 Saratoga Trail.
How you guys doing?
In Frederick.
What's that?
Do you remember me?
Yeah.
Hey, man.
How you been?
Hi.
You Nicole?
Yes.
Okay. What's going on?
So my friend, we were out of town for a business trip this weekend.
Right.
And I dropped her off at 2 o'clock this morning. She's 15 weeks pregnant. She wasn't feeling well. And she had a doctor's appointment this morning at 9. And I told her to let me know if she needed me to take her. She's got 2 little girls. And she was very distraught over the weekend, wasn't eating normally or drinking. And we kept trying to force it on her because she's pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Her husband and her supposedly are separating, but she didn't know this. She thought they were just having issues. He disclosed that to me today.
Okay.
Because I called him and I was like, have you talked or heard from Shanann since she left for work this morning? Because I can't get a hold of her. I've called, I've texted. Her car's in the garage. Her shoes she wears every single day are by the front door.
She only has one vehicle?
No, they only have the one vehicle and his work truck.
Okay. That's what I'm asking. There's
she took
not a...
the girls and went on a play date, but they're 4 and 2. She went on a play date. Why wouldn't she take in a car? They're both in car seats. And she had a doctor's appointment this morning at 9, and she didn't go to the doctor's appointment.
Okay. No answer on the phone. Husband's on his way.
Supposedly, but he said that 30 minutes ago when I called him again, and he said he was 45 minutes out still. And I know the code to the door.
You do?
I do, but there's a thing on it. There's a... No, it'll... Even Chris knows you can do it. There's a... They have the thing flipped up here.
Oh. What about the garage door?
I don't
Is
know.
there...
Yeah, get me on the phone.
Okay, get Matt.
Scott, how you doing?
How's it going?
So this is the only vehicle she would have?
Only one that, yeah.
She would drive? Okay.
That's me. Yeah. The neighbors went and checked his cameras and they said that our white car drove away at 1. It was me though. That was me. I dropped her off.
That was the last action on my camera.
Okay. That's throughout the whole day, or?
Besides Chris leaving?
Well, yeah.
What about the, there's no way you can look for the day? During the daytime?
What? Bring it here. The girls' car seats are in the car too, so if she left with the friend, she would have took the car seats.
I can go look if he doesn't find her.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Huh? Chris is in the house. We're standing outside of the police office. Can we go in the house?
We can.
I mean, that's up to him. It's his house. If you guys...
Nikki, I'm giving you permission to walk in my daughter's house.
Mind if I come in, Chris?
What's up, everybody? It's Rebecca here. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It really helps us grow the channel, and we really appreciate it. Love you. Bye. So now we're going to go over some of the interrogation that happened. In the beginning, when he first admitted what had happened, one of the investigators had originally kind of like threw out this idea, trying to get him to come to it and admit that something had happened that night. She said, well, maybe Shanann done something to the children, and then you did something to Shanann. And after a little bit of a time, that's exactly what he said happened. He later did change his story, but here's him pretty much saying exactly, surprisingly, what that investigator had assumed may have happened, giving him a way out.
After that conversation we had, and she accused me of the affair, in her heart she knew what was going on. And she knew about the dinner the other night. It was too much for just me.
About what now?
When I told her I went to a Rockies game, I went out to bed. I went downstairs.
And that's when you told her about my separation?
Well, that was when I was upstairs in bed. And told her, what I wanted and I wanted a separation. And that's what I want. I went downstairs and started packing up a few things. And I heard a couple of things upstairs, but I didn't think anything of it. I continued to just, my own thing and get ready to get everything packed up. Next. I went upstairs and I was going to talk to her again. And I saw on the monitor, those covers were like pulled off and she was just laying there. And she was just hot. It's like all over the CC. She was in there with her on top of her. Freaked out. I ran in there and got on top of her.
Where were you at?
Right there. I put it back in our bed. Sure.
Into your bed? Okay. What happened next?
I don't know what to do. I have no idea what to do. I'm shaking. Like both my kids are blue and they're gone. And I'm just like blind, just, I'm not that person, like, I'm just like, she hurt my kids. Like I had to do the same thing to her. And the babies are gone. And I put my hands around my wife's neck and did that same thing.
Did Shanann fight back at all when you did that?
The rage that I had after seeing that, not much.
So Chris is pretty much saying that he came to his wife and he was like, listen, I want a divorce. This is over. He continued on downstairs, preparing his lunch for the day. While he's downstairs, he looks at the nanny cams that flash between both children's rooms every 5 seconds. And during that time, he realizes his wife is on top of one of the children, unaliving them. So he runs upstairs and he tries to save her. By the time he got up there, it was just too late. Unfortunately, she was gone. However, what he did next was unalive his wife because he was full of rage and emotion. Guys, can you imagine? Like, can you just imagine what you would do? I would have totally done the same thing. And I think any person that truly loved and adored their family would have more than likely done the same thing. Yeah, my heart just broke. And listening to that, like, it genuinely seems like something that really happened. The way he says it, it just seems real. Later on, I'll show you guys, he says that that was a completely fabricated story. He says that what really happened was he had woke his wife up, she was laying in the bed, and he was sitting on top of her. Now, keep in mind, she's very pregnant. So the detectives question that, like, how are you sitting on top of her when she's so pregnant? And personally, I find that hard to see in my head. I see the other version a little bit more easier. But that's what he said. He said he's sitting on top of his pregnant wife on the bed, and they're having a talk about wanting to get a divorce. They both get really upset. One thing leads to another, and he pretty much unalives her. Then he takes her downstairs, puts her in the truck, and then whenever he gets her in the truck, he gets the 2 children and puts them in the truck. And then whenever they get to the work site, he unalives the 2 children there. This next part is going to be after the trial. He's already in prison. The detectives still have a few more questions, so they're just going over their last little bit of questions.
What I don't understand is, so then there was some talking, and then how did you get on top of her? How did that happen?
It's like when I got into bed, I just because she was laying, when she was sleeping, she was laying like face down, which she really never does.
Okay.
And I just got into bed and I kind of nudged her, and then she like kind of rolled over, and then I was just like right there on top of her.
Okay. And so that was after you'd gotten ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you go down, you make your food.
Oh yeah, I got like cottage cheese and another couple things that I made my food that day.
Okay. And then, so this is, we talked a little bit earlier today about, you know, there was all of these things playing in your mind where you just didn't even want to go another second without having this conversation or without some sort of completion, right? Mm-hmm. And then so you come back, she's asleep, and then you just kind of nudge her?
Yeah, I just kind of like, hey, look up for a second.
And was there nudge talk for 20 minutes, or was it just nudge and then all of a sudden you're on top of her?
No, she's pretty much on top.
Okay, so that happened pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's how we kind of pretty much talked.
Okay.
That was just right there.
And was there talking?
Yeah.
Okay, and so a nudge, a talk, she's laying down and you're standing up?
I was like, I crawled back, I got on my side of the bed.
Uh-huh.
And I just like nudged her like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And then you're talking while you're on top of her?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That seems confusing to me. Is that actually what happened? Okay. And so...
And she was fine, like just laying there when you trying to talk to her while you're on top of her?
Maybe I thought we were going to have sex again or something.
Oh, okay. Okay. And how long did you talk?
About 15, 20 minutes.
Really? In that position? Okay. And was there any sex?
No.
Okay.
Maybe I'm basically from the position that we're in. Maybe she thought maybe I'd try to go again. I don't know.
Okay. And I don't harp on it too much, but I'm just trying to think, if my wife's 4 months pregnant and it's 5 o'clock in the morning and I want to talk and I want to get on top of her, that's just not going to fly. So that's why I'm confused.
I know.
So, is that really what happened?
Yeah.
Okay. And then talk for about 15 minutes and then it's heated and then your hands are on her neck. Okay. All right.
What did the talk consist of?
Basically just about how, at first it was more of like the, selling the house type of thing, or not going to Aspen, or trying to maybe go in at a different time, and then it just switched all to the, I don't feel like I'm in love with you anymore, not compatible, and went to that. And that's when I got to the heated part of it.
Okay.
Did she ever say at some point, get off of me or anything like that?
At the end.
Yeah.
That's what she said. I don't want you to feel like, because where I was, it was kind of like she didn't want me like to, sit down or like hurt the baby or anything like that. So it was just kind of
Did she accuse you of cheating at that point?
Mm-hmm.
So what'd she say?
She's like, I knew there was somebody else. I knew there was somebody else. I didn't come out to say, that there is somebody else, but she obviously already knew. I think for the last things we were talking about, but it was, I don't feel like I love you anymore. And then she was like, you're never gonna see the kids.
Oh,
that was it.
That's perfect, Chris. That's exactly what we need. Okay. And I know it's hard to walk through that again, but that's exactly what we need. So then, as soon as she started talking like that, then it was on. Okay.
But it was you saying that you didn't love her, is that right? Okay.
And her saying you're never going to see the kids.
Yeah.
Okay. I can imagine how that made you feel. Sorry.
It didn't warrant what it did.
Yeah. And then the fact that she didn't scratch at you or anything, is that just because it was so powerful?
I don't think it. I mean, it didn't feel like I've never.
All right. Thank you. So with the girls, we talked about how they got into the truck with you and were alive. Okay. Are you 100% sure that's true? Okay.
Can we go back just a second?
Mm-hmm.
You talked about before that Bella walked in, though, to the bedroom. Can you tell us about that before you left?
Yeah, I was just getting the sheet off the bed, and she had walked in, and she had her little pink blanket with her. And she was like, what's wrong? Tell Mommy.
And where was Shanann at that point?
Yeah, just pretty much on the bed, but she was face down.
Wrapped in the sheet? What'd you say?
I just said, she doesn't feel good. That's when I tried to carry her downstairs.
Shanann? Okay.
Did you carry her like this? Did you drag her? How did you do it?
Tempted to pick her up and take her down, but I lost grip after a little while and just had to pull.
Did Bella see you do that? What was Bella saying?
She started crying a little bit. She's like, what's wrong with Mommy?
And what'd you say that time?
I said, she just doesn't feel good. She's a smart girl. She didn't know what was going on there.
Mm-hmm. Did she ever touch Shanann? Try and wake her up or anything? No.
She didn't want to see her or ask to see her or anything? And so that initial time, did she see you put Shanann in the truck? So she was kind of following you? Okay. So she followed you and you put Shanann in the truck. Okay. And then what?
I got, Cece wasn't up yet. She was just in her room. She was getting ready to get out of her bed. And then they were just walking around the house. I was put my lunchbox and stuff in the truck, and then grabbed the kids and I put them in the bench seat in the back.
Okay. And so Shanann, is she kind of on the floor in the back? And they're just on the bench. Okay.
August the 16th, both girls were found in a crude oil storage tank, while Shanann was buried in a shallow grave nearby.
Girls, say goodbye.
Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you truly enjoyed it. Happy Halloween, and I love you all. Take care.
Get up, stretch out, get on the floor. Hot dog, hot diggity dog. Hot dog, hot diggity dog. It's a brand new way, what you waiting for? Get up, stretch out, get on the floor. Hot dog, hot diggity dog. Hot dog, diggity dog. It's a brand new way, what you waiting for? Get up, stretch out, get on the floor. What, Miss Jones?